This segment is going to cover preparing your attic before adding insulation. One of the things we see all the time on a typical pull-down attic staircase is not only when this is closed, it leaks around the seal, but when you open it, you immediately have a rush of hot or cold air. We always like to install the attic tent. This is a very cost-effective way to reduce the amount of energy lost in your attic stairway. Comes with heavy-duty zippers made of the same material that they transport your pizza in when they deliver it to keep it warm. But before we can do that, we need to cut back this plywood and mount it down here at the frame. In addition, as you can see, we've got plenty of insulation over here, 18, maybe 20 inches. But typical attic is people like to store things, walk around. They put plywood down right on top of the ceiling joist, compressing this insulation down, eliminating the air, eliminating your R value. So the first thing we're going to do is cut this back to get our attic tent installed, and then eventually go raise this plywood, check our pipes for penetrations. We probably have some recessed lights there that we'll go through and check everything before we consider re-insulating. Okay, we've got our attic tent installed, complete, tight. Our next step now is to check for recessed lights, can lights as they're known. As you can see right over here, this is a prime example of what we run into. This particular can light here is not correct because the insulation, these get very hot. So the insulation technically needs to be about 3 inches away from the fixture, which you end up with something like this. And of course, there's an opening all the way around here, and I can actually even feel the warm air coming up from below. Our remedy for this is our fireproof insulated recessed light boots. Rex is caulking the bottom of the boot. If you take note, he's cut recesses in to accept the brackets, the mounting brackets, as well as the wire. By caulking this and placing it down on top of the sheetrock, we're going to get a nice tight seal. Before you put this in place, make sure you have all your insulation away from the fixture. Again, the insulation is flammable. This boot is not. So not only do you create a safety situation, but insulated situation as well. Just take your time on this. It can be a little messy. You might want to wear gloves. We've done some houses that have as many as 27 can lights. You start to think about 27 can lights with a gap around each one and no insulation. It's easy to see how this can be a real energy guzzler. Carefully place it over. Line up your cuts to match your boots. Place it down, push it down, and you're ready to go. Okay, Rex has got the boot properly installed, sealed up, and now we can pack the insulation completely around the boot, which is going to give us a complete sealed, energy-wise installation. Here we can pack it around and of course cover it up completely when we add another 10 inches of insulation later on. This is a great example of how to create a proper walkboard in your attic. As you can see, we're raised about 4 inches above our ceiling joist, which allows adequate insulation below this. You do need some kind of walkboards to access your attic once in a while, or if you need some storage, do the same kind of platform, water with plywood. But this is a perfect example of how your walkboards or storage areas should be done in your attic. Also, you can see your vent pipes. We've traced this vent pipe back to the wall cavity, sealed and caulked the hole where it goes down into the wall. Another example of what we run into is dead spaces down below in the wall. After a period of time, the insulation will fall down in there, creating a hole. This area has been screened, which will hold up the new insulation, and we can raise it to the adequate level. But now we've done everything, and now we're ready to re-insulate and bring our R value up to an R38. Another thing to take into consideration when doing this kind of work is proper protection. We're not wearing anything simply because this is a video. We're trying to explain some of these things, but normally we wear the paper disposable overalls, rubber gloves with rubber bands around our feet, a decent respirator. Sometimes people use a paper mask, but we prefer something that's a little tighter, because you got to remember, once you start moving around in this insulation, it floats. It's real light. It sticks to everything. So those disposable suits work out real well. Plus, again, insulation getting on your skin can cause severe itching. The other thing we usually do is wear goggles, not safety glasses, but goggles for full protection around your eyes. And this is optional, but a lot of times we'll wear a hard hat or some kind of head protection, because not only do you bump into the rafters, but as you can see, these nails sticking through from your shingles. And all you got to do is bump into one of these, and you'll understand why we wear head protection. But remember, protection is important when you're up here for multiple hours, stirring this up, looking for all your can lights, sealing off all your wires, sealing off all your PVC pipes. You're going to create a lot of dust. You need to be protected from it.